Hey everybody. So it's been a while since I've made one of these videos. We were doing the vlog series for a little bit, but like as is life, I should say, things get really hectic and things can get kind of crazy. And, I've been unfortunately a little bit negligent about my video posting lately. I don't know if negligence is the right word for that. Just, I don't know. Anyway, so I wanted to give you guys a recap on this last weekend's fight events and the U.S. Open that we went to. I said I would do it earlier this week. I tried to give a brief recap on Instagram, but unfortunately it only gives you about a minute and a half to actually speak. So it was really hard to actually go through anything and, give everybody a recap about everything that happened. So I figured I'd do it this way again. We got this format again. I just set up this little microphone and camera. I got a nicer camera right over there. Nicer, I should say, web camera. I used to go off of my actual, mirrorless camera, but having a big camera with a huge lens like right in your face is a little bit kind of a pain, So this little webcam, this high res webcam, has worked pretty well. So anyway, so getting back to this topic, so. This weekend, we went out to Arizona for the U.S. Open. So it's the West Coast Championships. So the U.S. Open is a United States Muay Thai Federation. It's a organization that puts on Muay Thai fights throughout the country. So they have an East Coast Championships and a West Coast Championships. I think the East Coast was, I want to say, somewhere in New York the last time. It might be somewhere different this year, but. And then the West Coast has always been, to my knowledge, always been in Phoenix. So I fought in it way back. I think, want to say 2015, 2016. I want to say 2015 probably. I fought in it, and it was a lot different back then. Obviously, not nearly as many competitors, but extremely high level competitors, just because there weren't very many organizations. So it was really hard to get fights, Muay Thai fights. Then it's still kind of hard now, but it was significantly harder in my opinion, because just there was nothing, So the guy I ended up losing to went on to get a pro debut in Glory Kickboxing like directly after the tournament. So he was the European champion and Italian champion and some other things. Anyway, so this tournament's been going on for a while, as if that wasn't clear, right? And we went out this year. We had 5 fighters competing. We had 4 that ended up actually getting fights. Unfortunately, Katie went out there. She got ready. She made weight, but her entire division, I was either 2 or 3 girls in her division, all dropped out. And unfortunately, this stuff happens. I mean, it's part of the fight world, as crappy as it is. But we got a call at 10 p.m. Thursday night, so the night of weigh-ins, at 10 p.m. when they were doing brackets, that they wanted to offer her a fight in a division higher to a girl who had the same kind of situation that happened to her. So all of her fights came out, or pulled out, I should say. And it was just not a good matchup. Katie's been training for, 7-8 months ish, something like that, maybe 6-7 months. Anyway, and this was going to be her first fight. And the girl that she got matched up with had a record of 4-4, was her same weight, 4-4. So she'd had 8 fights, 4 wins. And that's just a significant difference in experience. And we didn't really just want to, it just didn't make sense. For a fighter, their first fight ever, no experience, has only been training. It's been training not even a year. And you get an opponent who is 4-4. It's just like, nah, it's not realistic. So we declined it, unfortunately. But, it's better to keep fighters healthy, better to keep people able to compete again and do the right thing on fighters. And that's kind of what myself and Edgar and our coaching staff believes. This is a long-term journey, and sometimes it's not the best feeling and not the best situation right now, but it is in the long term, it's just kind of what it has to be. So we had 4 fighters that ended up getting fights. We had Finn, Joe, Alex, and Siri that ended up having brackets. Unfortunately, for Finn, his body took a big toll. We didn't start the weight cut early enough, getting him down far enough before the water cut. And his body just took a toll, and he couldn't get down to the weight. We thought we had the weight, actually. We measured it at a scale, and we were right on weight. And then when he went to the scales, they had him at 1.2 pounds over. So either we have a crap scale, and what's funny is we cross-referenced it with the scale at the gym we were at. Both of them had him under. So I don't know what the deal was, but they had him a 1.2 over when we went to weigh-ins. So unfortunately, he got bumped up a weight class, and he was fighting some big dudes. So he fought a guy from a very, very large gym. I want to say a syndicate out of Vegas, and dude is from Mexico. I believe is from Mexico, if I remember right. So it didn't go our way. Finn did the best he could, but when you have individuals probably 15 to 20 pound weight difference coming down and fighting, this guy had about 4 to 5 inches of height at least on Finn and length, plus weight, and it wasn't just, it is what it is. We do the best we can. We try to learn from our mistakes. It is what it is. We just need to get weight better from the beginning, and I'm going to apparently buy scales every single time I go out there and make sure that they're calibrated, because that was insane that we hit weight on 2 different scales and then we went into weigh-ins and it was off. But, I guess shit happens, as they say. So the second fighter, I should say, was Joe. And we got the draw pretty early, right? So they have fights Friday, Saturday, and the finals are on Sunday, and then they release the brackets at like 2 a.m. on freaking Thursday night, which is insane because one of us has to stay up all night and then basically wait for the brackets and then relay it to the fighters when their fight is. So the last time we were at the Open, our fighter was number 1 on Friday, so that meant he was fighting at like 8 a.m. on Friday, and so I had to tell him at 2 a.m., wake him up and be like, hey, by the way, your fight's at 8 a.m. We thought maybe you would be at like 10 or 11, noon, maybe a little later. Nope, you're at 8 a.m. So, they did it to us that way again. This time, we were fight 3, and luckily it started at 9 a.m. this year, so whoop-de-doo, we got an hour difference. So we had to get there early. We had to get everybody fed, energy in everybody, and get us there. Finn was fight 3, Joe was fight 6. I want to say Alex was fight 12, and then Siri didn't fight until like late in the afternoon. So for some reason they put his bracket way back, and I think it was because his bracket was a bit smaller, so they had semifinals already. So anyway, we got Joe going up, and I'll say real quick, Joe's probably one of the toughest mother effers in the gym. He's always working hard. He's always putting it to us. And as the coach has been doing this for a long time, it's not that fun to spar Joe. I'm going to say that right now. He gets to eat a lot of leather. I should say that. He is sharp. He is long. He uses his range really well. He is precise, and he showed that in the fight. It's the guy outworked him a bit. Like, by outworking him, I mean like he just kicked more, punched more, more volume, I should say, not power. He didn't work Joe by any means. He was just more volume, and Joe said that like most of those shots he didn't even feel the whole time he was there. It was just like, whatever. But when you get hit 3 times to your 1, even if you don't feel them, the judges look at them, and most of those judges have never been in a ring in their life. They don't know what the hell they're looking at. So it's not about significant damage. It's about who's scoring more shots than the other. It's silly. It's stupid. Anyway, Joe is precise. Literally, like I would say 75% of his punches were on target and snapping this dude's head back. And when we looked at the fight afterwards and we looked at the 2 fighters, Joe looked like he had been went for a light jog. And this other guy looked like his face was busted up. His eye was swollen. He was bleeding. Like, it just looked like if you had to gauge who won the fight between the way that both of their faces looked, like 99 out of 100 people would have said Joe won that fight because and the one person was blind. Though that one out of the 100 was blind. So, but it happens. Joe just got outworked a bit. He just didn't pull the trigger fast enough. Like, it just happens. It happens in fights. We just got to get our heads right. We got to get the training. We got to get the mental right. So we come out, fire, just coming out with a lot of energy and intensity. So then we got Alex. He was fight 12, I believe, to start off with. Came out, had a really good performance against the first guy. And he had 2 more fights following that, like, within 5-7 fights of each other, or 10 fights of each other, like, breaks in between, before Siri even went. So he had 3 fights in one day before Siri got his first fight. And so that was pretty crazy. But, his first fight, he did really well. He just outpointed the guy, just keeping him at a distance, picking him apart, like using good kicks, using good hands, just did a really great job. Second fight, this dude was big. And I'm going to show you a couple videos here in a second. Unfortunately, I didn't get any videos of my, like, off of my own phone to show. So I'm going to be stealing them off of other people's stuff. But he goes in there. This dude's big. This dude's just walking him backwards with power shots. And, Alex was doing really well. He was defending really well. But this dude was big. He's probably the biggest guy in the division. He came down probably a lot of weight. He had to have, because this guy was just, he's about Alex isn't short at all. Alex is like, 6'1", 6'2", whatever. And this dude is probably about 1 inch to 2 inches taller than him. And probably looked about 15 to 20 pounds heavier than him. And that was just my estimate. He could have just had bird bones and been hollow, like I joke about with the guys in the gym. But, he was a big dude, and he was walking Alex backwards with a lot of shots. And then Alex finally came back hard, threw a head kick, clipped the guy in the chin, and you could tell the guy was dizzy. And he was like, oh shit, he just got clipped. So grabs onto Alex, and Alex shakes him off. The guy comes back in there, and Alex just clips him with a nice overhand while the guy was punching, and just knocks him out. So that was exciting. That was Alex's first knockout ever. I asked him afterwards, actually. I was just like, hey, so have you ever knocked a guy out before? Because, I've been around you for 1 boxing fight, and this is the first ever Thai fights you've ever been in. And, like, for your size, they've always just gone the distance and stuff, at least from my boxing fights. And he goes, nope, they've never knocked anybody out before. So he's like, oh, he KO'd somebody the first time. So that was the second fight. Third fight, he got the other big dude in the division. And this guy had won 2 previous fights. Luckily, Alex just had him on cardio. Alex was fresher, and this big dude, he's a big guy. He was long. He was taller than Alex as well. And Alex just kept in his face the whole time and just picking him apart. And towards about round 2, this guy didn't have anything left. And, we got that decision pretty easy, and it was pretty handily, done. So, great job for Alex on that one. That was 3 fights in a row. And his foot was kind of busted up because he had caught a knee on the top of the foot on one of the kicks. So he was busted up. So then we got Siri. Siri's first fight was a freaking barn burner. That was a hard fight. He went in there. He looked he said he felt good. But the issue was that he'd been sitting around all day at the tournament, which was, that's how these stupid tournaments work, like you think you're going to go early, and then all of a sudden there's a huge delay, and like you end up sitting around all day, and you can't really eat much, and you're trying to hydrate, but you can't really eat much. So your energy is all over the place, right? Because you're not eating any food, because you never know like how quickly you're going to go, or how quickly they're going to run through fights, or how like long it's going to take you to digest something. And the last thing you want to do is get into a fight, into the ring with a full stomach and feel sick, right? That would be the worst. So we didn't really have that much food. So his cardio was terrible for what it normally is. I'm not saying that his cardio is terrible at all by any means, but for what it normally is, Siri can go for days. Siri's got a good gas tank. And it looked like in that fight that Siri got tired pretty quick. And this guy was pressuring him hard. Luckily, Siri outpointed him. Siri got better shots. Siri got that sweep. And I'm going to show you guys the video in a second. Siri got a good sweep. And just Siri used good technique. And I think that was the main decider. And it was a really close decision. Siri pulled it off. And then, that ended the day. So then we had a Saturday off because we didn't have anybody fighting in the second round's division. Alex was, all of his stuff was done. Joe and Finn, unfortunately, were eliminated first round. So, and then Siri so that meant Siri and Alex made it to the final. So we didn't fight till Sunday. Of course, as is USMTO fashion, the whole tournament was still a shit show. I have so many complaints about the way this tournament was run. It was terrible, disorganized. We had fights that were scheduled after us, pushed in front of us because fighters requested an earlier fight time. But when we requested an earlier fight time because we had a 6 or 7 hour drive going home, they denied it. So, and then it was just like, the rules for thee, not for me. Like, I don't know, but it was extremely frustrating. I was told to rewrap fighters' hands about 3 or 4 times as they got up close. Like, an official would say, "Hey, these hands aren't wrapped right." I'm like, I've been wrapping hands for years. Like, what's wrong with it? And then the one guy would be like, "Oh, your tape's too close to the knuckles." Okay, so I'd pull the tape back from the knuckles. Oh, the tape or the cushion and the tape should go closer up to the knuckles. So I'm like, son of a bitch. Like, will you make up your mind? It was different officials every time, and they all had a different way that they wanted it wrapped. And then one of them said, like, "Hey, we don't want any tape on the skin." And I'm like, okay, so no tape on the skin. I'm kind of aware of that. Like, that's like a normal rule. And then the other one was like, "Well, we need to have tape on the skin to go through the fingers and around the fingers and then over the palm and stuff." And I'm like, well, you guys just said no tape on the fingers. So will you guys figure out what you want and what you're allowing? Because I've rewrapped these guys' hands like 3 or 4 times. It is just frustrating. And, it was just really terrible organization. We had people that had a hard time getting into the fights, getting tickets, because their system crashed, and then scheduling was all over the place, and it was just stupid. Anyway, so we get to the finals, and so what happens in the finals? So we get Siri goes first in the finals, and we of course had to wait all day again. We were like literally, the fight started at fight 140. And our fight was at 2:30. So we had almost 100 fights that we had to wait to get there. Now, why didn't we stay at the Airbnb and just hang out by the pool and relax all day? Because I didn't set a freaking late checkout. So we had to get out of the Airbnb at 10 a.m. Now, granted, late checkout would have only given us 11. But either way, we didn't fight until 6 and 8 p.m. or something like that, or 7 and 8 p.m. or something like that. So super long day, just sitting around the event, sitting around the hotel lobby, warming up. So these guys go in. Siri puts on an absolute clinic on this guy. Like if you had to point out, like, hey, this is where this is Muay Thai technique 101, and this is how it's used. That's what Siri did. Siri just put on a clinic on this guy. Like, he would come back to the corner, and me and Edgar are in the corner, and we're there to give feedback and talk to him about like what went wrong, what we need to adjust, like just direction. Like that's what fight, and then encouragement and give him water and stuff. But that's what the corners are for. They're telling the fighter, hey, like, we need to change up the game plan. We need to, throw more punches. We need to throw more kicks. He's walking you around. You're not answering this. Like whatever the case may be. And we didn't have to. He'd come back to the corner, and I'd be just like, I got nothing for you. Just keep kicking the crap out of him. Like you're doing everything. You're missing the punches. You're throwing knees when you need to. You're blasting kicks when you need to. You're throwing teeps when you need to. He was just lighting this guy up. And towards the end, towards the third round, Siri kind of started getting a bit tired, and this guy started rallying a bit and started pressuring, but Siri just still never let it get the better of him. He just kept walking forward and no backward steps and just took this guy. It was easy. It was like an easy fight, easy for the judges. I think one of the rounds was like a 10-8 or something like that, or a 10-7. It was some ridiculous because he dropped the guy. He got an 8 count on the guy one time. And so Siri won the belt. That was for the belt. So that was really good. Really good performance for the championship. And then we had Alex for the championship, his championship match. And Alex, like I said, first day, he had 3 fights in a row. He had a gauntlet. And then this one, he gets in there against this guy who's about his size, but shredded, like athletic guy. And this guy was the power hitter of the team, of his group, or of this division, I should say. And and Alex just wore it. Alex wore it back through, and towards the end, it was, Alex won a round and he won a round, and they were going back and forth, and Alex was being precise and technical, and this guy was just walking forward with bombs on Alex. And by the time it hit round 3, the scorecards were even, and towards the end there, it was just one of those situations where fuel for the day. We just didn't have enough energy, and I think Alex just got a bit tired, and this guy just eked him out. It was just edged him out in the 3rd round, and so it was a majority decision. Judges just one judge had it early on and in Alex's favor, and the other guy had it for the other two had it for the other guys. So it is what it is, man. Our guys got there all the way to the championship, and Alex had a hell of a fight at the end. And this guy, they just went to war, and this dude is bloodied up and busted up. Alex was just precise, and it just ended up being like a cardio war. And unfortunately, we didn't have the fuel set up right, so Alex just barely lost it. And and it was very, very close. It was a close decision. Like, it could have gone both of those rounds before that was just like one or the other just taking it, and it was just a war, and it was fantastic. All these guys did freaking awesome. All these guys, all the preparation, getting them ready, all of our teammates, getting them ready, and the supporters. We had to have had, we had 20 some people in the house, and we had to have had like family members and everybody else coming out. We probably had like 50 or 60 in attendance in that area, loud cheering. It was amazing. Unfortunately, we ended the fights around 8:30, 9 o'clock, so we had to hit the road. So we didn't actually get back into Albuquerque until like 4:30 in the morning, 5 in the morning, something like that. It was miserable. I was tired for like a day. I'm still a little bit tired. So, but just wanted to show you guys just some highlights, just so this isn't just a video of me talking the whole time. So let me get you some highlights here. So I'm going to go steal it from the Instagram right here. So the Instagram. So this is Mo's Instagram, actually. And she had some really good edits and clips that she put in there. So I just wanted to show you guys this because I thought it was really cool. This is the first one. Oh, I got the sound going. So this is Finn warming up real quick. This was Joe warming up for his fight. Finn in the first fight, big overhand right here, clipped this dude. And you can see how big that guy was. Joe going against this guy. Look how precise those were. That was the knockout Alex got. That was fight 2. And that was a series first guy. That was the sweep, but that was the war. So again, these guys were warming up. We were getting them ready. This is kind of like a conference lobby area, and that's where we were given to warm up. But yeah, it was an interesting first set of fights, and just how precise Joe was in there. He was just like, a sniper rifle with his hands. The guy just outworked him, but that was a beautiful sweep. And anyway, I could just watch that over and over again. And then she made another one. It was just I just really like this edit. I just wanted to show you guys this one too. It was the gratitude one that Mo made. So fighters getting ready, Finn, Joe, Alex, Siri getting ready. That was a hard fought fight for Finn right there. I mean, look, size difference wise, he was just he put out a lot of heart, and then Joe just working this guy around the ring, but the other guy just landed more. It just sucks, but Alex just doing what he does, just working this guy around, throwing him down, knocking him out. That was the big dude. He fought third fight, semifinals, just piecing this guy up. The guy had no energy. This was the series war that he had where he got that sweep. That was just the gratitude after everything. We didn't get there wasn't any footage of a series, at least not to my knowledge of. I think Narayan might have some of a series final. And I don't know if anybody got Alex's final, but yeah, it was just us on the corners, and Coach Edgar and I. So yeah, it was just some cool clips, just some interesting fights over the weekend. Great performances by everybody. But I won't show you guys like, the whole everything. So it's, I mean, I don't like, there's some people who have the whole fights and everything like that, but we're just not gonna, I won't do that to you guys and sit here for like 20 minutes, like staring at fights and stuff like that. Go to Narayan's, Instagram. You can see, one of the fights in full, one of series fights in full. And, for the most part, like, the rest of the guys, I'm just really proud of everybody, proud of all you guys' efforts, proud of all the supporters. Like, it was just freaking fantastic. Everybody just did such a good job, and the effort from the team, just the cheers, just like everybody at the house, just getting these guys ready, like Jason and Meg, and like, so I got to give a shout out to Megan on this one. Megan, freaking awesome work getting all of the footage. She was, so we had fights on one side, one ring, and we're getting ready and like, fighting in the ring and stuff like that, or whatever, and she's getting footage of our opponents, which is freaking, of their fights, which is freaking awesome, because then after we won, we could go back and look at her videos and be like, okay, so this guy he fights like this, maybe he's got heavy hands, maybe he drops his hands, maybe he pressures forward, maybe he's a counter fighter, whatever. So we could make game plans ahead of time, and that was super helpful. So super appreciate you, Meg. That was awesome of you to do that. And then we had Coach Jason out there and giving feedback. We had Angel helping hold pads for these guys and doing some of the shadow sparring and stuff like that for them. And just giving them a lot of effort and work. Finn helping hold pads. It was awesome. We had a great team, and it showed because we put on good performances. So I just wanted to give you guys this recap. I hope you guys liked the format of everything that we did, or of everything I just showed you, rather. And let me know. This one's going to go up on YouTube. It's going to be on the website. So maybe I'll start doing a few more of these, talking about different topics and things like that, like I was before, but hopefully a bit more consistent now that things are settling down. So or at least getting into a better routine. It's a little hard. I got a 4-month-old baby, 2 businesses, and it's exhausting. So, it is what it is, but I appreciate you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one. So I'll see you guys on the next video.